Hard to believe, but the football season is right around the corner. Today we preview and break down the Jets' prospects for 2020, and we do so in a week when Gang Green makes some splashy headlines. Former Jets safety Jamal Adams was loud and outspoken during his contract dispute with the team, but he didn't talk his way out of town, says the man who negotiated one of the biggest trades in franchise history.
As I've repeatedly said, my responsibility is to always take the call and assess its value to the Jets, and ultimately this was a deal that made sense for us to make. I think that that we have a lot of good players here, and I feel like we have a good returning core as well as some players we added throughout the offseason that we're all excited about. And I know this team is hungry, and I know this team is ready to carry the momentum from a 6-2 finish into 2020.
General Manager Joe Douglas says Adams' outspokenness had no impact on the decision to trade him to the Seattle Seahawks. While the trade likely weakens the club for this season, 2 first-round draft picks could set the Jets up lovely for the near future. We spoke with New York Post columnist Mark Cannizzaro to get his thoughts on the Jamal Adams blockbuster trade. Jet fans were probably shocked by the news that Adams is heading to Seattle. I wanted to get your initial perspective and thoughts on what you thought of the trade when it came down.
Well, I think the shock really was less that he was moved and more by what the Jets got for him, to be honest with you. And, I think we got to credit Joe Douglas, the Jets general manager. I don't think anybody thought he'd get 2 number 1 draft picks out of that deal. So I think that, to me, was the more surprising element. To me, it was no surprise whatsoever that the Jets moved Adams because of what had transpired, most particularly in the last several weeks, but really in the last few months. To be honest with you, I am not a proponent about the way that Jamal went about this, and I've been vocal about it in print in the New York Post and other venues like this. I just, I feel like he first came out and was chirping about his, wanting a contract extension and how much he deserved it and all that kind of stuff, which I get. But he started to do it right around the time the pandemic was starting to heat up and become really, a crisis for everybody. And people are out losing jobs. They're, some people losing their lives, and he's out there worrying about a contract extension. So I thought right off the bat this past spring, that was a bad tack. And then from there, it just got ugly and it got personal.
Our full interview with Mark airs this Monday on Open. As for the preview, we start with 2 men at the top that should determine the outcome for the present and perhaps very well the future. Will this finally be the year the Jets actually look like contenders? Head coach Adam Gase's job could depend on it. Third-year quarterback Sam Darnold could help make winning a reality. Gase was hired to mold Darnold. If the Jets, and especially Darnold, don't show progress in 2020, Gase could be a goner. We spoke with the Jets head coach heading into year 2 in New York.
It's a team game, we got a bunch of guys that are excited to get going, and those are the guys that I'm going to focus on. And I'm extremely fired up to get this roster that, Joe D and our personnel guys did a great job of assembling this offseason. And, from the conversations that I've had with a lot of guys, they're extremely excited to get this thing rolling. I'm excited to see what this offensive line can do. The better that we protect Sam and the better that our running game is with Lev and Frank, I'm really excited to see what we can put together as an offense.
Gase started 1-7 last season, but managed to finish 7-9. The Jets haven't reached the playoffs since 2010. They have 6 losing seasons since then, including each of the past 4 years. The Jets, for all of their failings, hadn't had 4 straight losing seasons since 1962 to 1965. The biggest question for this offense: does Darnold have enough protection and playmakers? After losing wide receiver Robbie Anderson in free agency to Carolina, the Jets need running back Le'Veon Bell to play, well, more like Bell of old. No more excuses about an awful offensive line. The team upgraded the interior of their line in free agency and took an offensive tackle in the first round of the NFL draft. Darnold doesn't have a perfect playmaker or line situation, so he also needs to do his part. The jury is still out on whether he's a legit franchise quarterback. Here's Sam on the outlook.
I'm not going to worry about things that I can't control. I think for me, I'm just going to worry about, having a good training camp and, making sure that I stay safe, making sure that I have negative tests going in and, just focusing on what I can control. And that's, having a great training camp and winning that week 1 game against Buffalo. Spending so much time with Coach Gase, especially before last year, just trying to learn this offense as fast as I could. It was definitely a process, and I spent hours and hours trying to learn it every single day. And I'm still doing that. I'm still learning the offense, but I'm definitely comfortable teaching some of the young guys and the guys who haven't been in the system before. And again, I'm just really excited to get that rolling.
Gase now has more to work with. That much is clear. He came to the Jets with a reputation for being an offensive guru, but that didn't exactly show up last season. Check the stats. Here's more with Sam.
Yeah, he's the right leader for this team for sure. I think for me personally, he's helped me grow a ton as a quarterback and learning this offense. I just think throughout the weeks, leading up to games, he does everything that he possibly can to put us in the best position to win on Sundays. And, that's from my experience with Coach Gase. And, I've had nothing but positive experiences with him so far.
Defensively, the Jets lose Adams, but they still have C.J. Mosley. If Mosley can stay healthy in 2020, he should be a huge difference maker for Greg Williams' group at middle linebacker. Mosley was limited to 2 games in 2019 by a groin injury. Mosley is going to have to be a hero for this front seven, a guy who could do a lot in coverage. Veteran safety Bradley McDougald comes over in the Adams trade and takes his place at strong safety.
We're excited. We're really excited to bring Bradley McDougald into the fold. He's a good football player. He's a guy that can help us. And we're also excited about the premium draft selections that we're going to be receiving over the next 2 years, along with the safety that's been a consistent performer. He started 75 games. He's had 10 career interceptions. So we're excited about the opportunity that this gives us.
Maybe the biggest question for the Jets this year could be free safety Marcus May. He's the most intriguing player on this defense as he enters a contract year. He was healthy and played a full season in 2019. If he repeats his production, he could be on his way to big money. May was overshadowed by Adams. He's still ranked among the best safeties in the league. The Jets will need May to be a linchpin of their pass defense. We hit the C list for my final thoughts and a gangrene prediction. So much is still up in the air with the coronavirus pandemic. If we have an NFL season, the Jets should be better. With their tough schedule, will it translate to more wins? This feels like a 9-7 team at very best. The roster just isn't completely there yet, and the Adams trade was all about building for the future. A lot still depends on Darnold's health and progress. The Jets absolutely need both. The AFC East has opened up with Tom Brady's departure, but the Buffalo Bills are improving. And remember, the Jets have to play the San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams, Indianapolis Colts, and the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, in 2020. They have the NFL's second toughest schedule. 9-7 might even be optimistic after voicing that schedule to you folks at home. However, the future is bright regardless of the outcome of the upcoming season. Share your thoughts with me on social media at The Voice, Bobby C. More open after this.